ready for the interview. In a few, get a cue live on the laptop. Watch what I'm gonna do. Welcome to the show. Let them know we got a point of view. Hey, yo, let's have a combo. Say what you feel, be real. That's the motto. Real talk pronto. Dr. D, PhD, hit an intro. Hold up, wait. Gotta be social. Network logo, a home for the locals. Gotta be social. Network logo, a home for the locals.
All right, Brad, thanks for giving me some of your time today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
So, man, I can't remember how I got introduced to you, but tapping came along to me and I was like, all right, this sounds unique. I would like to talk about this because I don't know what this is. So you have to enlighten us.
Yeah, it's getting around and there's still a lot of people who have not heard of it. Tapping is literally a matter of tapping with our fingertips on primarily on points on our face and torso. And I know for anyone who's new to it, it's like, okay, that sounds weird. Why on earth would you want to do that? And it's based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body. And when this energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when this energy gets disrupted, we don't feel so good and we don't think as clearly, and that has all kinds of unfortunate consequences for our lives. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the doctor would stick these needles in these key points, and we're just stimulating those by tapping. So we get a lot of the same great benefits of acupuncture without having to stick needles in our face.
I think the needles thing is definitely it keeps people from doing things like that. People have this inherent fear of needles. I've had it in my life, not so much anymore, but when you're younger, it's like there's something there.
Yes. We have an aversion to sharp objects being stuck into our body.
Rightfully so, though. Maybe.
Exactly.
It wants to be knifed about,
Yes, it's a self-protection thing.
Yeah. Well, so how did you come about this, though? How did you come about knowing about this?
Yeah. How does a grown man find himself tapping on his face for a living?
I know, yeah.
I actually started out as an actor. I had traveled the world doing theater, went to Hollywood to be a movie star, as one does. And while I was there, I met this woman, fell in love, and got married. And when our first child was on the way, I thought, I might need a backup job. Even though I'd played a doctor on Days of Our Lives, it was not enough to support a family. So I was looking around and I had always been interested in the power of the mind. And I saw an ad for a hypnotherapy school and started training as a hypnotherapist and started building a small practice and still pursuing my acting career at the same time. And after a couple of years, when our second child was on the way, I realized that as much as I loved acting, doing personal development work was really my calling. That just fulfilled me in a whole new way. So I left the theater and moved up to Northern California, and through some other hypnotherapists heard about this energy psychology conference where they're doing this tapping thing. And I thought, all right, I'm game. And thought it was fascinating, saw some really remarkable things happen in a quick amount of time. For instance, the guy facilitating it, the founder of EFT, a guy named Gary Craig, gave everybody pieces of candy and pieces of chocolate and said, how much do you want this chocolate on a scale of 0 to 10? And I was a bit of a chocoholic at the time. And I'm like, 8, 9, can I eat it now? And then we just tapped on how good it's going to taste for just a few moments. And just after a few moments of tapping, I had no interest in the chocolate. I was as interested in eating the chocolate as I was the foil wrapper. And they said, take a bite. And I could not eat it. And I didn't eat chocolate for 2 years after that.
Whoa.
So I recovered. Don't anyone worry. But but I can go back to that. Like I'm off sugar again. I can just tap away cravings. But in that moment, it's like, okay, there's something to this. And after that conference, in my hypnotherapy sessions, I started introducing it at the end, going, hey, we got a few more minutes. I want to try this little tapping thing with you. And little by little, it became my main modality. And they primarily became tapping sessions.
Wow. I'm guessing you never thought this was going to be your path in life with professionally.
It's not exactly what I expected. No.
Isn't that life? I mean, you never know what's coming. It's always different.
And that's the key is being open.
Yeah.
I think why I've gotten to where I'm at is because I've been willing to step through those open doors and go, oh, that's interesting. All right, let me take a look at that, rather than say,
Yeah.
no, it's gotta be this.
Do you think this fits in kind of with kind of trajectory of, let's say, in general, health and wellness in today's society, where I think we're more open-minded to different modalities and things that were once considered fringe or more given more opportunity now?
Little by little, it's growing. More and more people are using it. I hear all the time from doctors and therapists who say, oh yeah, I send people to your YouTube channel in between appointments to help them, because the primary benefit of tapping is it lowers our stress. So it helps to balance. The tapping sends signals to our brain that balances out the nervous system. So when you consider that most, if not all, of the issues that bother us physically and emotionally are either caused by or worsened by stress,
Mm.
having a simple stress relief technique can be so beneficial in so many areas, whether it's improving our health and well-being, or improving our relationships, or improving our career and our financial well-being. Because when we're trying to make positive changes in our lives, we tend to have a stress response. Part of it says, yeah, it sounds good, but it's different. And I don't like different. I don't like change. So there's a stress response. We stop ourselves. So people are very open to, life hacks and things like that. It's like, how do I help be that? But then when I come along and say, hey, I've got a simple technique I can show you that's going to help you relieve stress like nobody's business. It's going to help you improve your finances and your romance and your health. Are you interested? Like, oh yeah. Okay, so take your fingers and tap right here. Like, you know what? I'm good. My life is good. So there is still a barrier, because we as human beings, we love to look cool.
Yeah.
And we're not yet at the point where this looks cool. I think it looks cool because I know how beneficial it is. So if I
Right.
see someone tap it, it's like, whoa, that is a really cool person.
Yeah.
But the general public is still slowly moving in that
Yeah.
direction, kind of like here.
Is there how do I put this? Is there sometimes an issue that sometimes we think to feel better, we have to do things that are more complex? Like it has to have like all these steps to feel better, or this has to be like a very complicated thing, because it almost seems too simple, is what I'm saying, in a sense. I think sometimes people think it's too simple, can't be that great.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it does trip up a lot of folks when they see it that way and say, this is too simple. How can it be beneficial? Especially, how can something this simple be beneficial in so many different areas of life? And it goes back to, well, because it's so simple to look at it and say, so many of the things that bother us are because of stress. So it's not an issue with all the complexities of the different issues, but we're looking at the stress underlying that. And so it may not fix everything, but it gets us to a point where we can see other possibilities and where something might be more complex. And a lot of things really are that simple. They're much more simple than we think they are. And part of us wants to complicate things. It's kind of a human thing. And because because we resist change. So if you come along and say, hey, here's a simple thing that's going to help you change your life, we have that resistance. I get a lot of pushback sometimes when I put it out on YouTube and things like that, where people say, this is too simple, or it looks too stupid, or whatever. And I figure those are the people who are most resistant, because those are the people who are afraid, you might be able to help me change my life, and I'm not ready to change. I am so dug in. Even if my life crap, it's my crap. Don't you dare try to take it away and tell me that there's something simple that can change it. And either one, I have to deal with change, or two, I have to deal with the idea that, I could have changed my life in a more simple way. I don't have to make it this hard. Now I feel stupid for complicating things. And so I want to resist the idea that it can be simple.
That's powerful. Honestly, I mean, that's hits it right, the nail on the head. It's an interesting thing about how humans want to change, but then when presented with an obvious action to change, there's actually usually a pretty large resistance when it comes to that.
Look at exercise.
Exactly.
We
This
all
is my
know,
profession. Yes, exactly.
it's like, oh, you want to be healthier? Exercise. Is there another option?
Can we do something else? Like,
Yeah.
oh
How
man.
about I can sit on my couch and get in better shape?
So I would love to hear also like your personal story with this. Once you started like really getting into this, you began the practice. How did it change your personal life in a variety of ways?
Oh, Darian, where do I start? Because I have a life that I love now. It's like I look at the acting field, and there's no actor out there with a career that I would trade places with because I
Mm,
love what I do so much. I and I'm pretty much as healthy as I've ever been. Uh, Knocking on the door of 60. I have all, my relationships are great, and I get to do something that I love, which and I make a decent living at it, which I did not do for the majority of my life up until this point. And so, as an actor, I had resistance to success, even when I started in hypnotherapy, and I was doing personal development with other people. I still had resistance, so it wasn't until I got into tapping, and it wasn't an overnight process, but it happened a lot more quickly than the rest of my life had been.
wow, that's incredible. And so how do you integrate this into your life on a regular basis? Like what's kind of your typical, I guess you could say, frequency of using tapping in your life?
So I start every morning with tapping, and some people might be confused by that because we look at tapping as, oh, but tapping is something you use to get rid of uncomfortable emotions. So do you just wake up in a bad mood every day and that's why you tap? It's like, no, tapping is for clearing stress, and we're most of us are carrying ambient levels of stress more so than we're aware of. And it also just allows us to be more open. So I may be tapping saying prayers or affirmations, and or just tapping silently to allow myself to be more open to opportunities, to be more open to positive change. So it's what I do first thing in the morning. And then, because it's my profession, I may be, depending on how many clients I'm seeing in a day or how many workshops I'm doing, if I'm doing a live workshop, I may be tapping for 6 hours a day. uh, so it depends. I recommend to folks that they tap on a daily basis. My mission is to get tapping out there so that people do it as routinely as they brush their teeth. We have physical hygiene like brushing our teeth and taking a shower before we need it. Most of us don't wait for a week or two and notice that people are holding their nose and then say, oh, that's right, I haven't taken a shower, I haven't brushed my teeth in a while, now I'll do that. So it's the same with stress. We don't want to wait until we're freaking out about something or we're blowing things out of proportion and yelling at people and go, oh, that's right, I should have taken an energy shower before. So it's
Hmm.
just energetic hygiene. So that's why I recommend it daily, even
Oh,
if it's
that's
just a few minutes.
yeah, that's amazing. Well, let's get into it. Let's do a little tapping here. And I've never done this. I know we talked about off camera. Let's see what's going on here.
Okay. So what I'd like to ask folks to do is go ahead and close your eyes as long as you're not driving. Take a deep breath and let it go. Now, just breathing comfortably with your eyes closed, allowing yourself to be present, allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible so as to receive maximum benefit from this process. I'd like you to just follow your breath through your body and just notice what's going on in there. Notice what you're feeling physically and what you're feeling emotionally. And go ahead and rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 would the best version of yourself, living the best version of your life. Happy, healthy, successful, just doing great, as great as you can imagine, what you think your best life would be. And don't judge yourself harshly if the number's lower than you'd like it to be. Just allow yourself to be aware. Just allowing yourself to be curious. Just like using the GPS on your car on your phone. Just allow yourself to know where you are so you can get to where you want to go. And just allow yourself to think about those actions that you could take that would move you in the direction of a 10. What could you do? Maybe even starting this week. What could you do to improve your career? What could you do to improve your health? What could you do to improve your finances, your relationships? Allow yourself to focus on any area you like. And as you think about taking those actions, notice how much resistance might show up in your body. Notice where there might be parts of you saying, is there another way? Notice what that feels like physically. Maybe rate that resistance on a scale of 0 to 10. Notice what thoughts, beliefs, or memories might come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't take those actions, or why you couldn't or shouldn't get the results, why it might not be safe to live at a 10, why it might not be fair, why you might not deserve it. Just allowing yourself to be aware of that resistance. Take a deep breath, open your eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the fingertips of our index and middle finger of our dominant hand. We're gently going to tap on the edge of our opposite hand. And that's where we'll do a setup phrase. And then we're going to go through these different points. And I'll be saying phrases and you'll be repeating the phrases back, but I just want to show you the points first. So the first point is right here at the beginning of your eyebrow, right near the center of your face. The next point will be right here at the side of your eye, right at the corner of your eye socket. The next point will be right under the middle of your eye, just above your cheek. Right under your nose. Right under your lower lip, just above your chin. Right here where your collarbones just about come together, there's a little bit of a U shape at the base of your throat. And go ahead and you can make a fist and tap that whole area. Next point is about 4 inches below your armpit. Some people describe this as right about bra strap level, and I'm sure even the guys can figure out what that is. And finally, top of the head. So using all of your fingertips and tapping the crown of your head. So starting on the side of the hand, and just repeat back what I say and tap where I tap. Even though I might have some resistance to getting better.
Even though might have some resistance to getting better.
Choose to love and accept
Choose to love and accept.
Choose to love and accept myself.
Choose to love and accept myself.
Even though I might have some resistance to getting better.
Even though I might have some resistance to getting better.
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and honor myself.
Even though I might have some resistance to getting better.
Even though I might have some resistance to getting better.
I might have some resistance to doing better.
I might have some resistance to doing better.
Because part of me says.
Because part of me says.
I'm not sure I can do that.
I'm not sure I can do that.
I'm not sure I can handle it.
I'm not sure I can handle it.
Maybe I can find an easier way.
Maybe I can find an easier way.
And even though I might have some resistance to getting better.
Even though I might have some resistance to getting better.
I choose to deeply and completely.
I choose to deeply and completely.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else who contributes to this resistance.
And maybe anyone else who contributes to this resistance.
Because I choose to be that free.
Because I choose to be that free.
Now going through the points. All this resistance to getting better.
All this resistance to getting better.
All this resistance to doing better.
All this resistance to doing better.
All this fear of having things be better.
All this fear of having things be better.
And part of me is probably saying.
Part of me is probably saying.
I'm not afraid of things being better.
I'm not afraid of things being better.
I'm not resistant to doing better.
I'm not resistant to doing better.
But if someone were to look at me throughout the day.
But if someone were to look at me throughout the day.
Would they see me doing everything I could possibly do
Would they see me doing everything I could possibly do
to make my life better?
to make my life better?
They might even see me doing some things
They might even see me doing some things
that move me in the opposite direction of my goals.
that move me in the opposite direction of my goals.
And it's not because I'm bad or stupid.
It's not because I'm bad or stupid.
It's not that I'm weak or lazy.
It's not that I'm weak or lazy.
It's just that I have a lot of old programming
It's just that I have a lot of old programming
about what's comfortable for me,
about what's comfortable for me,
about what's familiar.
about what's familiar.
And if I took these actions,
If I took these actions,
things would change.
things would change.
And part of me says, no, thank you.
Part of me says, no, thank you.
We're doing fine right where we're at.
We're doing fine right where we're at.
Sometimes I might tell myself,
Sometimes I tell myself,
I'm just not motivated.
I'm just not motivated.
But that's not true.
But that's not true.
I have motivation to get better.
I have motivation to get better.
But if I'm not taking action,
But if I'm not taking action,
it's because I have more resistance than motivation.
it's because I have more resistance than motivation.
So I choose to clear that resistance.
So I choose to clear that resistance.
I've been weighing the pros and cons of taking action.
I've been weighing the pros and cons of taking action.
And a lot of time the cons win.
A lot of time the cons win.
So I stay stuck.
So I stay stuck.
And I love and appreciate those parts of me.
And I love and appreciate those parts of me
That believe it's safer to stay stuck.
that believe it's safer to stay stuck.
And that's based on misunderstandings.
And that's based on misunderstandings.
And I'm clearing those up.
And I'm clearing those up,
Clearing these old fears.
clearing these old fears,
Clearing them all the way back through my past.
clearing them all the way back through my past,
Allowing myself to get more excited about getting better.
allowing myself to get more excited about getting better.
Part of me knows that I have what it takes.
Part of me knows I have what it takes.
I'm giving myself the freedom to do what it takes.
I'm giving myself the freedom to do what it takes.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. And go ahead and close your eyes and think again about life at a 10 and check again where that resistance might have shown up. Thinking about those actions you could take. And hopefully any resistance that was there feels a lot less present, maybe gone. And some of it may still be there, but you may be more aware of why you had that resistance. You may be more aware of why reaching certain goals would seem problematic. And then you can do more specific tapping on that. Take a breath, open your eyes. How's that feel?
Feels good. Actually, what's interesting is I had this pinched nerve in my shoulder and I didn't think about it at all for the first time in a while, actually.
Yeah.
Just kind of went away while we were doing that. It was good.
Yeah, that often happens. We'll be working on an emotional issue and the person afterwards will say, yeah, I feel better. And by the way, I had this stiffness in my neck and it's gone now. Or sometimes we'll tap specifically on a physical thing, like, oh, I've got this knot in my stomach, and we'll tap on that. And they'll say, oh, that feels so much better. And I was really angry at my sister, and I just don't feel angry anymore.
Yeah. That's so awesome. It feels like just taking time to be intentional and a lot of the words I think were very powerful within there, that especially about, sometimes like the cons, the cons are the things that I'm choosing, or it's like you don't talk to yourself like that.
Yeah.
Normally.
No, it happens so quickly and at such a subtle level. We'll be sitting on the couch and go, I just have no motivation. Or lying to ourselves. Like I have motivation. Otherwise, Because if we say, oh, I want to get up and exercise, I want to be in better shape, but I just don't have the motivation. If I had no motivation, I wouldn't even be thinking about exercise. I wouldn't
Right.
even thinking about that. It's just that at the moment, the pros of exercising are not outweighing the cons of
Yeah.
like, I'm tired, I'm comfortable here. And it may be at a much bigger level of if I were in better shape, there would be certain opportunities that might be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People might be more attracted to me, or I'd feel like they were more attracted to me, and I would have to put myself out there. And
Right.
I got, totally ruined in my last relationship.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell myself if I don't exercise, I'll be safer from that, or
Yeah.
whatever else it might
Yeah.
be. So there's very complicated reasons as to why we're saying no, it's not worth it.
Do you think that people often, these reasons you're talking about, are not consciously aware of those reasons? Maybe it's more subconscious to them.
Very, very subconscious. It's like we have a chess grandmaster in our head who's thinking 50 moves ahead. And so, if we say, I'm tired of being single, I really wish I could meet somebody. And then we're at the grocery store and we see an attractive stranger over here. And our mind starts playing chess and it goes, I could go over and say hi. And they might say hi back. And we might start a conversation. We might have some things in common. We might go out on a date. And that date could lead to a second date. And the third date, we start going out and they break my heart, just like the last person. Oh, look, there's a sale on aisle 2. And we're over in aisle 2, look at the sale items going, gosh, I wish I could meet someone. We're consciously unaware of this whole chess game that has been played out. And part of us inside that is still wounded from the last relationship is
Yeah.
going, dodge that bullet.
Man. So you feel that like a regular tapping routine would maybe help a person who's in that particular situation say, no, that actually is something I've been telling myself that's not true, or that
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah. It feels safer to look at other opportunities, other possibilities, and to be able to say, you know what, that person was just the wrong person for me, that last relationship. They did me a favor when they dumped me. And, wow, I wasn't seeing the red flags, or I wasn't paying attention, and I was in denial. And boy, they really saved me from, possible years of misery, or possible more years of misery, depending on when it happened. And being able to shift and go, okay. And so now, hey, maybe this person is the right person. And I can even allow myself to tap into an awareness of I can handle when things go badly because I have handled everything that has ever happened in my life. So we start to build more confidence. What, I can take another risk.
It's just interesting. Like through my background and my education, like I'm aware of a lot of these these sayings and the psychology behind it. But like when I meet a lot of people, I just feel like they never think about this. Like it's not even a thought process to talk to yourself about these things. You're never meeting that person.
Yeah. What we've been taught by example of talking to yourself is putting ourselves down, beating ourselves up. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm such a loser. It's like, stop, please. Be compassionate with yourself, because self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. Whatever you're doing that is self-sabotaging, whether you're stopping yourself from going out and meeting people, or you're showing up late to interviews, or you're not getting your work done on time, or you're eating crappy food, whatever. And you can look at it and go, oh, I'm just sabotaging myself by doing this. So I always say, be compassionate, tap to calm yourself down, and then look at it and go, this is an act of self-love. It's a misguided act of self-love. Why am I doing this? Why does this feel like I'm taking care of myself? If I'm eating, a whole box of cookies, it's because, you know what? I'm really upset about things going on at work and I just need to comfort myself. And even though I know I'm going to pay a price later on, I can't deal with later on right now. I have to deal with what I feel right now. So rather than beating ourselves up, it's, saying, hey, I really appreciate myself for trying to help myself feel better. Now let's calm down that uncomfortable emotion that I'm experiencing so that I can find a healthier way to move forward.
And I mean, this is so right on. It really is. It's actually incredible. I'm curious too, how this has affected your family life. How does, like, with your children and things of that nature, how have you incorporated that into that aspect of your life?
Well, raising children is its own stressor. So it definitely helps.
Yeah.
There are times, my kids are both grown up and live quite a distance away. My son's across the country. My daughter's in another country. So it helps to deal with those things that are challenging at times. They they sometimes use this process. When your kids are growing up, everything your parents do is uncool. It's even less cool if what your dad does his face on the internet. But then my daughter, we shot some videos for kids when she was 9 years old, and then 10 years later she came home from college one summer and said, "Hey, let's do some more videos for young adults." So that was cool.
And that's pretty awesome. You're so right on about that. Even if your mom or dad's doing something like that's like changing the planet, they're like, it's just pretty lame, you know.
Yeah,
It's just pretty. Who cares if it's like amazing? It's lame. It's them, you know.
yeah. What does your dad do for a living? He's
Let's not talk about that. Let's
get off YouTube.
yeah, yeah. In fact, never watch YouTube to see my
Yeah.
dad ever.
Actually, I'm very happy to be able to say that they do like what I do, and
Yeah.
happy to see the difference that it makes. So
It's amazing. And, when I checked out your YouTube channel, I mean, did you ever think you would be getting all these subscribers, all these people watching? I mean, it's incredible.
when I first started, because this was just a few years after I'd learned tapping, I started doing things on the internet, and then YouTube came along. And I thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a tapping video that people could start their day with tapping? And I'll call it Tap of the Morning. And that was all I intended to do. I didn't even know how to put it on YouTube. I had to have a friend of mine who is more video aware who uploaded it for me, and that was it. And then it was 6 months later, I thought, I should have a video for people to end their day, and I'll call it Tap of the Evening, and then I'm done. 2 videos on YouTube. What else do I need to do? And then another idea came, and another idea, and now I've got like 1,400 videos up there.
Wow. What an incredible story. I gotta tell you, Brad, this is awesome. And it's fulfilling what I'm looking to do this year, which is to have really unique stories. And I know the goal is to make this more mainstream, but it's still pretty unique.
It is.
And I think in my community of work in fitness and wellness, this will be a very novel idea to a lot of my colleagues. And I want that. I want people to be exposed to different options. And now is a great time because people, I think, there's so much anxiety, depression, all these, and people are talking about it.
Yeah.
And I think they're more open-minded to try different things because, I mean, who wants to feel that way on a regular basis?
Yeah. Unfortunately, at an unconscious level, some people do, because there's, we call secondary gain. It's like when I'm feeling down, people give me attention.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling great, people ignore me. It's like, oh, you're fine. You don't need my attention right now. But if and the people are not doing this consciously, so this is not blaming the victim or saying anything like that. We have learned patterns of behavior. And I've worked with many clients who have said, growing up, my parents were busy, they're busy with other kids. And the only time I ever got attention was when I needed it because I wasn't feeling well. And they're not consciously aware of it. They're not thinking, gosh, I'm really lonely right now. I think I'm coming down with some, hey, give me some attention. It's not anything conscious like that. So it's looking at giving ourselves permission to say, is there some part of me that is getting something out of this?
Yeah.
That I might be looking for. And certainly, yeah, in the fitness world, where people do have that resistance, and giving your clients something that can help them through that resistance so that they do what you tell them and get the results more quickly, and then tell their friends about the great work you're doing.
Yeah.
And also for fitness instructors to clear any blocks to success, because I've worked with fitness instructors and other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And, I have a desire to help people, but I'm not comfortable with being really successful,
Mm.
and clearing those blocks so that they allow themselves to serve at a higher level and reap bigger rewards.
How strange is that to hear? I'm not comfortable being successful. And it's true though,
Yeah,
but
that's
no
the
one
thing.
will
It's
tell you that though, Brad. They won't openly tell you that.
yeah,
They want to, the perception is go online, tell people you want to have wealth, you want to be successful, but you will never put out there, I'm struggling to actually want to be successful. Like no one admits that.
that's
Like,
why the one of the first things I said in the tapping round is I have no resistance to success. But if I was to watch you throughout the day, are you doing all of the things you could do to move towards your goal? If I say, I want to weigh this much or have this much level of fitness,
yeah.
am I going to see you exercising, on a regular basis? Am I going to see you, or am I going to see you sneaking that box of cookies?
Yeah.
And again, it's not to blame or shame. It's being curious rather than judgmental, and going, okay, why I'm sabotaging my goal. I'm saying that I want success. I have my vision board. I'm saying, oh, this is what I
Right.
want. But
Yeah.
the unconscious mind is saying, oh, that's fine. It's so cute when you do that. You go ahead and fantasize, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen because
Yeah.
it either doesn't feel safe. I'm afraid I don't deserve it. I'm afraid of how other people are going to respond. If I'm jealous of other people's success, then I'm unconsciously going to be afraid of, well, I don't want to have that success and have anybody else be jealous of me. I don't want anybody looking at my Instagram and going, yeah, that person doesn't know what they're doing. They're an
Yeah.
idiot. So if I play small, it feels safer. I can tell people I'm playing a big game, but I'm not taking all the actions. I'm not doing everything I can. Again, not because I'm bad or stupid or weak or
Sure.
lazy, but because I have beliefs about why it's not safe. I've had people say, I go to all the seminars, read all the books. Why don't I have the amount of money I want? I was like, close your eyes. Imagine having the amount of money you'd like to have. Now, on a scale of 0 to 10, how safe does it feel? And they're like, oh, it's like a 2 or a 3. I said, bingo. Now you know. If you had a young child that was invited to a birthday party and you looked at where that party was going to be and you said, on a scale of 0 to 10, how safe is it for my kid to go to that party? If it's a 2 or a 3, are you going to let your kid go to that party? Correct answer is no, by the way, for any of you parents out there.
That's right.
So it's allowing yourself to go, oh, now I know. But we resist that and we don't want to hear about that. And we just want to say, no, 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 I'm going for it. But it's like, trying to run down a track with a big trunk full of rocks
Yeah.
tied behind us. And we sit there and go, why am I not getting the success? Why am I not getting there?
Yeah.
Because we're sabotaging ourselves in subtle little ways, like that grocery store thing,
Yeah.
we're down on the sale aisle. God, why don't I have the success that I wanted? Because I was playing that chess match in my
Yeah.
head. And I was thinking, if I had that level of success, there are going to be some consequences that I've been taught I can't handle. So it's not that we're unsuccessful. We are very successful at avoiding the success we say we want. So we can see, wow, I'm so successful. I just need to change trajectory.
Yeah.
I've been successfully staying stuck based on the belief that that's what's safest. And tapping is just a very simple way to clear that stress and be able to look at it and say, would it really be that dangerous? Could I really not handle that?
Man, incredible. This is going to be excellent, I think, for just a lot of people in my life and certainly with my colleagues. How can people get started by learning a little bit more outside of this podcast? How can they learn more about tapping with you, Brad?
Yeah, thanks, Darian. The simplest way is to go to my website, tapwithbrad.com. And there's all kinds of resources, links to my YouTube channel, and there's a new 5-day course, free 5-day course called Success Beyond Belief. So when you think of that success beyond belief, it's like, wow, it's so much success, but it's also literally the success that's beyond your current beliefs of what you believe you can handle. And so that's a free 5-day program folks can get at tapwithbrad.com.
What an awesome time. I mean, Really incredible, Brad. And you know what makes it even better? You just seem like a really nice person. Just a fun guy. I didn't know you were an actor previously. That even makes it better too, by the way.
Yeah. I'm a graduate of Ringling Brothers Clown College.
Oh
It's
my
all about
goodness.
having fun.
Yeah, you got to have fun in life. But man, what a way to connect to yourself. So thank you so much for your time, Brad. Appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for what you're doing, Darian. And I really appreciate this opportunity to share the work.